Hello, everyone. Um, we're just starting now, so I'm just going to give it a minute or two for everybody to have time to join. And while we're waiting for more people to come in, I just want to present our presenters today, our panel today. So as you can see here on the slide, we have Felipe, who is our senior product manager and who basically worked on this entire project and knows it by heart. So obviously he's the best person to present today. We have Kiran, who's already in chat, trying to engage you. She's our senior product marketing manager, also very much involved with this project. And my name is Senka. I'm the customer education specialist. And you probably know me from community, where I've been hyping up skills and everything that's new and exciting that's about to come with AI agent. So, as you know, because you joined here and you obviously know what the topic is, we are going to be talking about skills. So, our new AI agent framework that has been released over the past 4 or 5 weeks. And that will help you to level up your AI agent setup. So today we'll walk you through on what skills are, why we made this change, and how you can easily migrate without starting from scratch. So let me just see if we have enough people to start and to see what the time is. Okay, so I'm just going to give it about 20 to 30 more seconds, and then we'll kick it off. I don't want to spend too much time on the intro just because we have a lot to cover. Okay, yeah, I see people from all over the world, which is kind of expected because our customer base is worldwide. I'm not expecting to see anyone from Australia, but when you do watch the recording, shout out to you as well. Okay, so here we go. So we will be covering this today. So as I already said, talking about what skills are, what do they bring, how do they work, and how you can easily migrate. This session is expected to last for the next 60 minutes. We should be talking around 40 to 45 minutes, and then the last 15 minutes is reserved for your questions. So if you do have any questions, please drop them in the chat. You've already discovered chat on your right-hand side. And I would just like to start off with what skills are. So basically, skills are our new intent-based AI agent framework that provide a precision layer on top of your existing configuration. All Gorgias accounts now have access to skills. And as you can see here in this image, it's available in your AI agent menu. So when you go to the main menu and click on skills, this is where you will find some basic information on skills and what's even more important, some recommended skills for you. Now, this is just a high-level presentation. This is just a high-level presentation in the beginning. But first, I would like to do a quick pulse check. So, Brittany, this is your cue. And if you can just vote in this poll and tell me what's your take on skills. So, how do you feel about what you've seen so far? Do you like it? Are you not really hyped up about it? Are you interested in it and are going to add it to your to-do list? Or have you already started working with skills? So I'm just going to give it a minute. So you see the poll on your right-hand side, and you can vote there. And I'll just wait for about 30 seconds to get your votes in. Okay, I think we can just get the results now. Brittany, if you can help us with this. Oh yeah, and I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, Brittany is doing our backend work. Thank you for that. And then Brandon will be covering chats and answering your questions. Okay, I'm not sure how we can see the votes.
I can jump in here.
Yeah, sorry.
No problem. So the poll results for what's your take on skills, we have 62% of folks saying they're adding it to their watch list, meaning it's something that they want to learn about, and they may not have gotten to it just yet. And then we have 36% of folks saying that they've already binge watched and gotten into the nitty gritty of skills. So we're excited to have both audiences here and to teach you more and answer your questions as we go along.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Okay, and then Kieran, you can just take it from here and tell us more on what do skills bring.
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and share maybe my screen. Uno momento. No, we're good. Okay, cool. Awesome. So hello, friends. I'm Kieran. I'm a product marketing manager here at Gorgias. And today we're going to start with the basics of what are skills, where can you find them, and why do they exist? So here's the core problem that we're trying to solve here. With the old framework, when a customer message came in, AI agent would do more of a broad search across all of the knowledge that you've set up and your guidances. So including your skills, including your articles, guidances, snippets, URLs, trying to figure out the best match that would have been most relevant to go ahead and answer that question. That approach would work fine for simple informational questions, but when things start to get a little bit more complex, maybe a little bit more multi-step, a return, a cancellation, a subscription change, the model would get a bit confused, and instructions in that moment were not clear. And that inference is what ended up creating a little bit of inconsistency. Skills is aiming to fix that problem by using intent detection. So AI agent now knows exactly what type of conversation it's in before it actually goes out looking for instructions, so that the same type of question, whether it's word for word the same or has a similar type of intent and message, they will always get the exact same answer. Moving on to the analogy that I know and love, and I hope does make sense to you all. We're going to take it over to Carbone in New York, a Michelin star restaurant, to really drive home this analogy here. So the slide here is using a kitchen metaphor, and it's a great way to remember how skills work in place. So think of your AI agent set up as a kitchen. You have your knowledge, your help center articles, guidance, web content. That's all within the pantry. It's always there, full of ingredients that your AI agent can use. Now let's take a look at the 3 different cards. You have your full skill, which is your recipe card. So think that spicy vodka rigatoni pasta that Carbone has to get right every single time. We don't really want to stray away from the ingredients. It's something that has every step, every decision point locked in to the minute, to the second. AI agent will follow this precisely. This is what you want for your returns, your cancellations, the subscription management, anything with multi-steps that you cannot afford any variation with. Then we move on to no skill, which is where the AI agent works from the open pantry. So my example here is you have the chef's special pasta for the night. We have a great array of ingredients. They're all top notch. We've done some really cool recipes in the past, and kind of pulling from there, the chef creates their best option in the moment. It's still great. It's more general because it is the chef's best pasta, but it's not going to be your spicy vodka rigatoni because it is not following that same recipe card to the T. It'll pull together a reasonable example from your knowledge library, but it is improvising in some ways. And again, that's fine for some simple informational questions like store hours and shipping policies, but think more general, high level. Now we get to the disabled card, which means that the conversation goes straight to your human team. The best example here, you just realize that there's a Michelin reviewer that just walked in, and this is all hands on deck, and the chef needs to make sure that everything goes swimmingly. So this needs to go back to that human team. Some conversations can't be automated. They can't just follow a quick recipe card. They do need that human involvement. Maybe this is that sensitive complaint, a complex situation, and the disabled setting is how you make sure that you are in control of that, and it is more explicit in that manner. The key insight here that is really important to call out is skills gives you back that precision control, conversation type by conversation type, which is why we're really excited to get you guys all migrated over to skills from guidance. Moving along, this is the before and after at a glance. So before skills, every customer message triggered a broad search, like we said before, across everything that you've ever written. AI agent has to infer which content should be applied. The same question could get a different answer depending on which content ranked the highest in that search. With skills, again, a customer message comes in. Gorgias will go ahead and detect what the intent is, say it's returns or requests. The matching skill fires, and the AI agent follows the instructions that you wrote for it for that exact scenario. Same question, same answer every time. This is where the higher consistency comes in practice. It's not just better, it's much more predictable. And I know this is something that a lot of merchants have been asking for with the launch of AI agent. Beyond consistency, skills makes your AI agent setup much more easier to manage. Each request type gets its own dedicated playbook, and that is, the skill that you are setting up. Think kind of similarly to the way that you set up guidance, but because it is now intent-based, it does allow you to have a little bit more of that control there. Instead of one long pile of guidance that AI agent has to sort through, you'll now have those discrete organized skills set up by each list of intents. So you can have one for returns, cancellations, subscription changes, and the list goes on. This matters more for product process management. When your return policy changes, you can update that return skill. You know exactly where to go. You can go and you can make that change easily, and it won't accidentally affect how your AI agent may handle something, let's say, like cancellations. It also means that you can expand your coverage incrementally. So you can start with one or two conversation types to make sure you're not diving into the deep end here, get them working well, and then add more as you go along. You don't have to overhaul everything at once, but we do have a migration agent that we have launched alongside skills that does make it easier for you to do this and not spend hours doing this migration. Now that you've understood what skills are, let's take a look at how they actually work, specifically the 3 levers that you can configure to gain full control over how the AI agent handles these conversations. Sending it over to Felipe. Thanks.
All right, thanks a lot, Kieran, and hello everyone. It's Felipe here from the product team, and I'm very pumped to be here, seeing all your messages, seeing you all attend here. And yeah, like Kieran said, I want to show you in a little bit more detail. If you don't mind, stop. Yeah, thank you, Senka. I'm gonna share my screen, and I'm gonna show you the 3 main components of skills. So one thing that is really net new with the skills framework. So here I am on the skills page, and this is what the navigation looks like again. Uh, but one of the main things that I want to show you first is that with skills, you get control over which intents the AI agent is allowed to handle or not. So if you go back to the analogy that Kieran was saying, you can basically determine what's off the menu, right? So you can do that by clicking here. Intents are a series of Gorgias classified categories of what a conversation is about. We have 55 intents in total, which are divided in about 13 different categories. And what you can see here is you see all of your support traffic split across the different intents that we have. You can see what's the share of those tickets amongst the total. And then you can see whether that intent is specifically linked to a skill or whether it's actually using knowledge. But what I wanted to highlight here is that when you have an intent, you can actually decide to disable that intent. So as you do that, what that means is that every time that that intent is detected, then AI agent will not try to handle that intent and hand it over to your team. And this is very important because what this enables is a gated approach to handling AI agents. Before, when AI agent is turned on for a given channel, chat or email, it's basically on or off for any question that comes into that channel. But now with skills, you can actually gate AI agent and not just enable it for a given channel, but also for given channel and for particular topics that you want AI agent to handle. So these allows you to test AI agent. For example, if you're getting started with a particular subset of topics that you want to dip your toes in, and as you build confidence, you can progressively make AI agent available to more and more different types of requests. So this is something that is new and that is enabled with skills. And that is the first thing that I wanted to show you. The second one is I'm going to open up this order cancellations skill. In addition to the intents, you also have the actual instructions. So we go back to the analogy that Kieran was putting. The instructions are essentially the recipe, right? So what happens is once the intent is detected, and you can see this right here, in this particular case, I have an order cancellation skill that triggers with the order cancel intent when this intent is detected. And then the instructions are actually followed to the T. So it's really about making this association between what is the customer intent that I'm detecting and what are the actual instructions that I want AI agent to follow when that happens. So they really go hand in hand. You can also decide to link new intents by clicking here and searching for any particular intent. Or you can also decide to remove a particular intent as well. So we've gone through instructions, we've gone through intents, and the last piece that I want to show you about skills is the knowledge toggle. So what this does is you can decide to enable it or disable it. When I enable the knowledge toggle, what this does is you're giving AI agent the freedom to, whenever this intent is detected, then these instructions are going to be followed as the main piece of instructions or input that the AI agent will follow. But you're also giving it the permission to go ahead and look at the rest of your knowledge in order to find questions that are potentially more specific, that can be a little bit more niche, and don't necessarily go through your procedure. So as an example, an order cancellation can be, you can have instructions that follow that step by step on how to handle a cancellation. But if customers have more specific questions about potentially what's your order cancellation policy, then you might have a Help Center article for it, and you don't want to add, it's not necessarily to add that information here. And in this case, turning on the knowledge toggle will enable AI agent to go ahead and look and find that information as well. So pros and cons of using the knowledge toggle. By enabling it, the AI agent will be able to cover more questions, and the responses will be more rich. And we're gonna see that in a minute. And by toggling the nudge toggle off, the AI agent will actually be much more strict at following these instructions, because this is going to be the only set of instructions that is going to receive for this particular order cancellation intent in this case. But it will not be able to find any questions or any information whose answer is available on your content. Our recommendation is for you to leave it enabled, and AI agent should be able to handle the procedural type of nature that comes with these types of instructions, but the response will be more rich whenever the conversation gets a little bit more niche. But if you want full control and full adherence, then turning on the knowledge toggle, turning off, sorry, the knowledge toggle will be the right way to go here. So to recap, instructions, intents, customer intents that are detected about what the conversation is about, instructions that are followed to the T for that particular intent, and then optionally giving AI agent the option to search for more knowledge as well. So yeah, with that, I'm handing it back to Senka to illustrate a little bit what this knowledge toggle looks like.
Thank you. Okay, let me just share my screen again. So basically, to reiterate what Felipe just showed you in product, each of these settings has a role to play. So depending whether the intent is on or off, the AI agent will be handling handling the ticket or will be immediately handing it over. If you have instructions on, then those will come on top of the knowledge. If they are off, or in other words, if you don't have any new instructions added to skills, that means that the AI agent will work the way it worked so far, so just based on your knowledge library. And then, of course, the best solution would be to have both instructions and knowledge toggle on, just so AI agent can give more enriched responses. I will just show you now what this looks like in practice. So first of all, this is the setting that we have. So we have the skill and we have the knowledge enabled. And let me just see, because I would like to do it from chat. I want to see if I can share the tab. Do you see the chat? Okay, I think it is. Okay, great. So I'm just going to ask the same question. And this is basically what we picked up from an actual customer's account. So this is the screenshot from the actual customer's account, but we will just, sorry, it's here, but we will just replay it in our demo setting. So if I ask this, and this is with the knowledge on, the AI agent will give me the answer using both the skill instructions and the knowledge that it takes from guidance and help center articles. So as you can see here, it's basically telling me this is something that it has from the guidance, is that the price shown online for that specific item is not the same that will happen, that will be shown in the store, so that each store has their own pricing and promotions. And then if we turn the knowledge off, give me a second, please. I need to set up a new incognito window for testing purposes. And then I need to disable the knowledge toggle like this, publish the changes. And then moving on again to our chat, asking the same question. And now it should be telling me that again, now it should have less information just because it follows the skill instruction to the T without the additional knowledge. Again, this is an example that you can see directly from our customers help desk. So with this question, when the knowledge toggle is off, as you can see here, it's just trying to follow the instructions, so to identify the product, and doesn't give any further instructions about pricing in the stores. Obviously, as Felipe mentioned, this kind of setting does have its advantages, but it's recommended to only be used for legally sensitive or tightly regulated processes, where you don't want AI agent to pick up any other knowledge except for the instructions that you put in skills. And then when it comes to the knowledge toggle being on, as you can see here, it's a much more enriched response, or response that has more context and that gives more information to the customer. So for any process that's, as I already said, not that doesn't need to be so strict, we do recommend having the knowledge toggle on. Okay, and now let's see. I did see a question in chat. What is the difference between a guidance and a skill now? So I would like to address that. So basically, the simple rule is ask whether this is about what AI agent should do for a specific type of request or what it should know in general. So if AI agents should follow specific steps every time a shopper asks for return, cancellation, update, or anything like that, that belongs in a skill as an instruction. And if AI agents should know about your store hours, your shipping policy, or that gold loyalty members should get free shipping, that belongs in knowledge. So when I say knowledge, I'm referring to guidance and help center articles. If this is something that you want to have uh, that should be customer facing, that should be public, then yes, you can put that knowledge in a help center article. But if it's that common knowledge that your team has and is not very widely publicized, you don't want it to be customer facing, then you should put it in guidance. What I would like to emphasize in this case, as you know, we've always highlighted the model when, if, then for guidance. So right now we're kind of dropping the when, also based on your feedback, but we are sticking with the if then model, so the conditional model. And all of you who have your AI agent configuration and guidances written in that model can easily migrate to skills because it's the same model that the skills instructions will be using as well. So just to give you an idea of what skills versus guidance look like. So as you can see here, they complement each other. So as I mentioned, with skills, it's what AI agent needs to do. With guidance, it's what AI agent needs to know. So on the left-hand side, there are step-by-step instructions given to AI agent on how to identify the order, determine eligibility, and what to do next. This is the place where you should be referencing variables and actions moving forward so that the AI agent has a clear list of tasks in one place. On the right-hand side of this screen, you can see a guidance that explains what are some additional services that the brand offers for purchase products. And you'll notice that there are no specific requirements or actions referenced. So basically, you are just anticipating customer questions and coaching AI agent how to respond. So as I previously mentioned, both keep the if-then format. However, guidance is now more similar to a help center article, but it is still written in a more instructional form that's easier for machines, for the LLM to read, rather than in a storytelling form that's more suitable for a help center article that's public facing and should be read and understood by humans. So again, maybe the best way to clarify the difference between a skill and a guidance, is it something that AI agent needs to do, or is it something that AI agent needs to know? Okay, and now that we've kind of covered what skills are, how do they work, and how do they fit in the current configuration, I would like to move on to the most important part at this point, is how to migrate to skills. And again, stopping my screen and giving it off to Felipe.
Thank you, Senka. All right, let's talk migration. So I'm going to share my screen again. And so if you have been using AI Agent already for a while, if you have guidance created already, then when you land to the skills page for the first time, you're going to see this screen. And what this is a personalized transition plan that we have curated and crafted for you. So before diving into what the personalized transition plan looks like, I want to give a little bit of context about how it actually works. And the first thing that I want to start with is that the goal of this transition plan is to get you a first bump and get you started with skills. So it is kind of like getting you from 0 to 50, so that you get your most important, highest traffic procedures that you have encoded in your guidance and move them over to your skills. But that what that also means is that since we're targeting your core instructions of procedural nature that you have in guidance, then that means that also not every single guidance is going to be ported onto skills. And that can be for two reasons. One is either the guidance doesn't actually contain any procedural content, and in that case, it can remain a guidance and doesn't need to be ported over to skills. And the other reason is if it doesn't make up for a big amount of the traffic and of questions that you are receiving, then it won't be recommended here either. And the way we provide and create these personalized recommendations is we look at all of your traffic, we read all of your existing setup, and we provide recommendations based on about 10 core use cases that are very common to ecom, like subscription cancellations if you're a subscription-based merchant, order cancellations, order edits, shipping address, questions about order status. So these are the core use cases that this recommendation plan is focused on. And so all of the recommendations that you will get will be about two things. One is about guidance you already have that has procedural nature, and also about questions that are very common for your particular setup. Another thing that I want to highlight as well is that this migration is generated based on your recent data. So do take your time to go through the transition plan if you want, but don't take too long because it is based on recent data. So the longer you take to go through this personalized transition plan, then the less synced with what you currently have the transition plan will be. Um, and the last thing is that if you are relatively new to Gorgias, if you haven't really actually enabled your AI agent, you will not see this transition wizard because this is meant to help you transition if you already have an existing setup and you have your AI agent running. But do not worry, I'm going to also cover what you can do if you do not see a personalized transition plan here. All right, with that out of the way, I want to show you what the migration looks like. So I'm going to click here, skill review, and you're going to see two things. So we're going to show you one skill at a time, which is available here. And you also have Gaia on the site to ask any questions you want. You can ask any questions about this particular skill. For example, like why is this skill being recommended to me? You can also ask it, is there what guidance or what particular content is this skill based on? Or you can actually do edits if you want. You can do so manually, or you can ask Gaia directly to do any updates for you. So before I go further, one thing that I want to highlight is that you don't need to go through the entire transition plan in one go. But actually, you can, for example, advance to the second step, and if for whatever reason you cannot finish the full transition plan, you can leave it there. And whenever you come back, you can resume the skill review. So it's not, you have the time to go through it essentially, and you can do it in different goes, not necessarily has to be go through the entire transition once at a time. Another thing that I want to highlight is that as you review these recommendations, you can decide whether to keep the skill, and basically by the time that this transition plan is finished, the skill will go live, and you can by default that's the behavior, but you can also decide to keep it as a draft by clicking here. So what's going to happen is that by the end of the transition plan, you will still see this skill created for you, but it's going to be a draft and it's not going to go live immediately after the the transition is finished. So um, as I was mentioning, the personalized transition plan is created based on your existing guidance. So when that is the case, you can also see it here. Um, right here, this particular skill or cancellations is generated based on one guidance. And when you hover over this, you can see exactly what's the guidance that this particular skill is based on. So you can click here, and if you want, you can read it, or you can directly ask Gaia, sorry, what guidance this skill is based on. And then Gaia is going to provide you with the answer and give you, and you can ask really any details about it. So so I'm going to move on through the plan. I'm going to accept um, the recommendations while um, yeah, in the meantime, just ask it to continue. But in the meantime, I'm going to move forward. Here, you can see also a little summary of why we are creating the skill and where it's coming from. You can also see here what are the intents that are going to be associated to this particular skill. And then if there are any actions that are going to be implemented as part of the skill, then they'll also be highlighted right here. So um, so I'm going to move on with the plan here. I can see the answer from Gaia, and it's going to be one by one as you go through. You can take your time to review, ask questions to Gaia about any doubts that you have, and then as I get towards the end, so I'm going to go all the way to the end. You can see here that there is a review step where you can basically see the summary of your transition plan. Nothing will go live until you finish the full transition. So even if you accept some recommendations in the middle of it, nothing will actually become effective until you actually click here, apply all the changes. So the two things that you can see at the last step of the wizard is the skills that are ready to enable. So it's a little summary of what's gonna go live once this plan is finished. And if for whatever reason you change your mind and you're not ready to enable any of the skills, you can also decide to turn them off right here. Um, in addition to reviewing the skills that are ready to enable, you can also see a summary of all the guidance that was used during this transition as a source to port over to skills. So you can see here that this transition plan was generated based, in my particular case, on 3 different pieces of guidance. And what's going to happen as well once this transition is finished is this guidance will be disabled. So the guidance will not disappear from your setup. It will still be available should you want to search it, but it's going to become disabled and their content is going to be ported over to skills. So effectively, we are transferring the content over to skill, but for whatever reason, should you want to review again your guidance and do any revisions you want, you can still do that by searching the guidance directly. So skills will not disappear, sorry, the guidance that is used for these recommendations will not disappear. And you can still search it, it would just be disabled. All right, so I'm going to finish the migration, and then what's going to happen is it's going to take a few seconds. And then once that happens, then the skills will be available here, everything will be enabled, and your AI agent will be ready to start handling conversations. So one thing that I want to show you as well is that the related guidance for this that were used to generate this transition plan are going to appear disabled, which are the ones that you can see here. So these 3 guidances were the ones that were used for the transition, and as you can see, they are now disabled, but you can still see them if that's something that you want to do. All right, now, if you do not have this personalized transition plan ready on your account, you can always ask Gaia. So you can um, very simply, you can click here, Ask Gaia, and I'm going to start a new conversation. And one of the prompts that you will see by default is optimize my AI agent setup. So you can click here, and what this is going to do is it's going to analyze all of your traffic. It's going to look at what are the actual opportunities that you have to optimize your setup, and it's going to recommend a series of skills that you can create. So it is very straightforward. In the sense that you simply need to ask Gaia to help you optimize your setup, to help you move over guidance to skills, and Gaia will essentially take care of it for you. And as you go through that setup, you can actually ask any questions, clarify, make edits as well as you go, and it should be a very straightforward experience. So regardless of whether you have this personalized transition plan, it's meant to be really, if you already have a setup, to make it really just review, move on to the next, very straightforward. But you can also do something very similar with Kaya. And it's particularly useful if your account doesn't have a personalized transition plan. So yep, that's what I wanted to show. Hopefully this is clear. And with that, I am handing back over to you, Senka.
Thank you. Uh, and yes, so we've covered basically, or Felipe showed you how you can transition with the personalized migration plan or with Gaia. I would just like to add that you can also convert every guidance manually, convert it to a skill. So you'll see this part, this section, and the convert button in every guidance. And this is recommended if you just want to start slow and do it one by one. So I would recommend just going to your knowledge library, finding your most impactful guidance, and then converting it to a skill. I see here that Manny had some feedback. We will get to that later, but just flagging it to you, Felipe, if you want to take a look, and then prepare the answer for the end of the presentation. Yeah, so as we mentioned, as we shown you, we've covered how skills work, how you can migrate, and so on. But let me show you some of the resources that we've prepared for you to help you maintain and manage your AI agent configuration. So before we dive into that, I would just like to highlight that skills do improve consistency and reliability, but the success rate still depends on what you feed your AI agent with. So the quality of instructions and the quality of knowledge. And I'll just pause here for a couple of seconds so you can read this LinkedIn post by Amanda, a director of customer care at Osea Malibu, which is one of our customers. I'm pausing now. And basically, what she's saying is sharing her experience with AI agent. They are one of the early adopters, so they did turn it on right away as soon as AI agent was out, was released, but then they decided to disable it a couple of days later. Just because they realized they needed more time to set it up for success. So I would just like to focus on her takeaways is that AI agent is something that you don't just set and forget about it. It's something that needs real onboarding, just like any other team member. And it's something so basically that onboarding or that knowledge needs to be maintained. So whenever there are changes or whenever you notice that the performance drops, you need to go back in and then update those resources. I'm actually just read an article a couple of days ago where a well-known global research and advisory firm, Gartner, states that organizations that prioritize the quality of AI agent configuration could increase their AI agentic accuracy by up to 80% and reduce costs up to 60%. I will be sharing the link to that article here. So basically, it just supports what we are always saying. It's not about setting it up and then just waiting for AI agent to react. It's about also keeping track of the performance and maintaining it. Okay, and when it comes to actual resources that we can offer you, it's the continued Gaia assistance. So as Felipe showed you, you can ask it questions in simple languages, get recommendations, review it at your own time, and then enable it when you're happy with it. It's also the improved actions library, which I'm going to be showing you now. So it's basically something that will show you all the available actions that you can share, that you can enable AI agent with. As soon as you connect your tech stack to Gorgias, the actions will show up here. It's also the skills template. If you prefer to do it the old-fashioned way, we have the most frequent, templates for the most frequent e-commerce topics. And then we're not forgetting about your knowledge library and the guidances. We have new guidance templates as well, where you can store your general company's info, and then enable it with AI agent so that it can use it in its responses. Last but not least, shout out to the rest of the education team who designed some of the resources for you. So you have the Academy course here, how to coach AI agent to perform better. You can scan the QR codes here if you're new to the Academy, or sign up if you already have the Academy profile. And then Brendan, who's in chat, has been spending a lot of hours to basically create articles that will help you understand skills and how to migrate to that framework. Here you have the link to the starting articles, Skills Explained, but then there are some other articles in our help center that will help you move through that. Okay, so now it's time for Q&A. If there is something that Brendan hasn't yet responded to. Felipe, do you want to join me on stage so you can tackle the questions?
Yes, I see that there's one question that isn't answered, and it's, can AI ask for customer emails before chat conversations? The question is yes, and it's actually a chat setting. So let me share my, if you don't mind,
Of course.
I'm gonna share the same. Thank you. All right, let me share. So it's actually a chat setting. So if you go to settings, actually, let me repeat the whole path again so that you see this. You can click here on settings, or here as well. And then when you get to settings, you can click here on chat. And as you get to chat, you can select your specific chat and go to preferences. And once you get here, there is this setting right here called collect shopper emails at handover. By default, we do not collect any emails because we don't want to get into your customer's way in case they just want to ask a live chat question that doesn't necessarily require an email. But if you do want to make that required, you can simply toggle this on and mark collecting shopper emails at handover as required, and that and then save. And once that is done, then we will require your customers to provide emails every time that they start a chat conversation with you. One call out is that once you do this, then you are likely to get less engagement from your customers because you are essentially creating a little bit of friction. But if that's something that you want, then by all means, feel free to use this setting.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then Alex has a question. Well, actually, states his case that he has a guidance that is similar to an active skill, and is he able to merge those skills?
Yeah, I think the Brendan's answer is on point. So yeah, if you already have that skill created and the content is duplicate, then do consider disabling the guidance. This is actually what we do in the transition plan, as I was walking through just a few minutes ago. So do consider doing that. If there is some sort of like the overlap is not 100%, you can actually ask Gaia to integrate the content of the guidance into your skill and then have it disable the guidance once it's done.
Okay, and going back actually to MH question about customer getting customer emails before chat conversations. So if you want us to specifically look at your account, please contact our support team, and then they can review your account and give you instructions on how to enable what Felipe just showed. Okay, Andrea also says that it doesn't work with AI agent enabled. The customer, the getting the customer email in chat.
Okay. Yeah, I will need to review that. If you don't mind dropping your email, I can confirm with the team and get back to you. If you feel comfortable sharing your email on the thread, that's okay. Otherwise, I will share my email here, and you can also drop follow up there with your specific case, and I check with the team and make sure that you get the right answer.
Okay, and then Vince, any tips or workarounds for when the AI agent is not able to view images in the chat and only on email?
Well, this is very very timely because just today we released the ability to read images on chat, so that should no longer be an issue.
Yeah. But Kieran will talk more about it in our next webinar, and actually we'll mention it in a couple of minutes after the Q&A session. Okay, so from what I'm seeing, the other messages are all about customer capture email, which we will handle offline just because we need to basically review the account and the settings. Okay, great. And then the link to the academy, yes, of course, Mariana. Give me just a second. I actually did prepare it here, but forgot to add it to chat. So here you have the link to sign up for Academy if you haven't already. And then if you do have, if you've already started learning with us in the Academy, here's a direct link to the AI agent course. And then Brendan's amazing articles about skills where he goes topic by topic, explaining how they work and how you can migrate to them. Okay, I will give you a couple more seconds to ask a question. Felipe, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, well, if there are any more questions as they come in, I do want to add that what we are seeing with the accounts that are starting to adopt skills what we're seeing is that we are roughly doubling the consistency of AI agents' behavior, which is super exciting. Because one of the reasons why we built skills is because oftentimes, and this is feedback that you all shared, was that it was very hard to see AI agents behaving consistently. So the same question would get different answers um, in a recurring basis. And as a result, when AI agent doesn't act consistently, it also makes it very like more difficult for you to know what you need to do in order to get the behavior that you expect. And a lot of this, there's different reasons why this happens, but a very big contributor to this situation is the fact that AI agent was not getting consistent instructions for the same question. And this is exactly what skills are meant to solve. And just today we were measuring the results that we're seeing so far from the early adopters, and we're seeing that roughly the extent to which AI agents behaves more consistently now has doubled versus the setups that don't have any skills yet. So just want to share those early results. In case you haven't adopted and checked the skills, I do recommend you give them a try.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing. Yes, I was wondering whether we should share the early numbers or not, but I'm glad we did. And I would just like to end it with another pulse check. So if you can tell me now in the poll in chat, how do you feel about skills now? And we're going back to that kitchen reference that Kieran presented. Are you going to be sticking with what you already have, so with just pantry? Are you going to start with a few recipes, so trying out skills? Or do you already feel like a Michelin chef that has everything under control?
We are starting to see some of the results come in here. I'll give it a couple seconds for a couple more votes to trickle in. Some good feedback though. Folks are liking skills so far. Glad to be an early adopter. We are so happy you're an early adopter. You adopting products early and giving us feedback as we go along helps us make it better. So we're super pumped to have more of you jumping in and adopting the product early on. I do agree that I also want to be a food critic instead. Maybe I was one in a past life. That's why this skills analogy with the Carbone as a restaurant was the first one that came into my mind. Awesome. So when we're looking at the skills, the poll results, we're seeing that there's 78% of people who are ready to start with a few recipes, which is really exciting. We can't wait to see that adoption and see how you guys are all liking it, see the success rates. Maybe those early numbers that Felipe are mentioning will also change as they go along. And we're also seeing that people are feeling like a Michelin chef. So if I helped you find your calling with the skills analogy, you're welcome. And I can't wait to see all your Michelin star restaurants open up somewhere around the block.
I would just like to add before completely passing it on to you, Kieran, that if you have any questions that have been unanswered or that come up after this session, we're always happy to see you in our Gorgias community. So if you haven't joined yet, you can join in this through this link, and I'll make sure that you get the answer either from me or from someone else on the team. And now we just want to invite you to our next session.
So that was all about skills, super exciting. And I am energized that you guys are energized about this. I do want to leave you with what's coming next though, because it's all connected. Everything you've seen today is actually a part of a bigger shift in how AI Agent works. On July 21st, we're unveiling AI Agent 3.0, powered by Gaia, the biggest leap yet for the only AI built for commerce. We're super, super excited to see you all there because this isn't just an update, it's a rebuild. And skills is just one piece of what that unlocks. So I'm not going to spoil any more of it here. I do want you to see it all live. You can scan that QR code on screen if you haven't registered yet, or head to the link to register that Senka is going to share in chat. July 21st at 1 p.m. Eastern. Please share it with your team. The more the merrier, so everyone can, be read in on what we are launching. We are excited to share more with you all. Thanks, team. Thanks for joining today.
Thank you, and have a great rest of your day and week.